Thank you guys for tuning in to Music Monday, New Mexico. Today we're here with a very special artist. He's actually the jazz professor for Eastern New Mexico University. It's kind of interesting, especially I ended up going there when, who was it? It was Mr. Beatty was there, and he always had his funny joke as to why he never got his master's. But David, please open up, introduce yourself to everyone watching our show today.
Sure. Hey, everybody. I'm Rich Schwartz. I teach saxophone and jazz over at Eastern. I also serve as department chair for the Department of Art.
Awesome. When did you end up starting there?
That was in the fall of 2013.
2013. Okay. So you've been pretty busy there in Portales. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay. So recently you just ended up hosting a jazz fest. I did end up tuning in, and it was a wonderful performance. I really like you guys did a special tune, for Chick Corea, who recently ended up passing, and really ended up loving that. Really love your style. Would you be able to go into what that ended up looking like?
Sure. Well, usually, if you really want to know what goes through our minds, it's okay, we got a performance coming up, we got to put it together. So I contact all the faculty. Hey, what tunes do you want to do? And then if I don't hear from you, then I'm picking the tunes. So that usually we get together that way. And it worked out. And one thing that actually Neil Rutland asked for was some sort of Chick Corea tune, if we can do it tribute to Chick Corea. So that was actually Neil Rutland's thought. So we agreed on 500 Miles High. And I'd never played it before, and a number of us had never played it before. So it was a new experience for me. And then we got together, we had one rehearsal, and then put on the show. And that was it. We had a great time, though. We have a great chemistry, the faculty, we really get along. And we rehearsed. The rehearsal was quick because we were all prepared. There was a great rehearsals. It wasn't, honestly, I had 2 hours set aside for a rehearsal. We only used maybe an hour.
Great. Awesome. I love when that happens.
Yeah, everyone was so prepared. We just talked the tunes down. We played them. That was it. So it was a great rehearsal. And then the performance, I think, came off pretty well, especially considering, yes, we are in a pandemic. We had to consider socially distancing as well during the performance. And so we made sure we were 6 feet apart, even though Neil Rutland and Terry Burns, they each had their shots. So they felt comfortable being next to each other, just a few feet from each other, and that was fine. The rest of us were more spatially distant, should I say.
Right. I mean, you guys were using Buchanan Hall. You were like, okay, we can spread out. We can make a little bit of room over here. Yeah. Did you guys have anyone in the audience, or it was just a live stream? Was that?
It was just a live stream. I would have been nice if we could have had people in the audience, but the university did not. The policy of the university right now is that we have no one in the audience. We had. There was a tech person that set things up just in case, and there was a tech person backstage as well in the far back handling all the recording, et cetera. So there were 2 people around, but actually at the time it felt kind of odd because there was nobody in the audience, period. There was no tech person in the room either. So I was speaking to no one. I just assumed people were listening, and there were
right. You're like, thank you, Facebook land. Okay, awesome. Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things that I'm, the one thing that I'm excited about is being able to finish a song and then hearing someone go,
yeah.
So, and then
just a little bit of feedback, a little
bit.
Yeah,
right. You're like, pretty sure I killed it. Sweet. Okay, and the day after, you guys ended up having a bunch of workshops. Did you guys end up flying someone in?
Oh, I wish. This year, we plan to have Sean Jones, the well-known trumpet player, in this year, but unfortunately because of the pandemic, couldn't do that. So Sean, I believe he teaches at Peabody Conservatory, which is in Maryland. I believe he was still in Maryland working with a symphony, or he had a rehearsal that day.
Okay.
So everything was via Zoom. And I sent a bunch of Zoom links out to hundreds of music educators, et cetera. And so we had a few kids sign up. And so we had 3 workshops at 1:00. We had a workshop specifically to students about meeting the faculty. So that way they can ask us questions. And we also mention our backgrounds, what we do, what we enjoy about music. Also, probably the most important information the students want, which is, how do I get a music scholarship? You know,
Yes.
money, 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 and that we understand. So,
Right.
and then at 2:00, we had workshops with individual professors. So I gave a workshop for saxophone students, and I worked on saxophone related topics, or jazz saxophone related topics, such as going over the changes and transitioning between one key area to another, some technique. That's actually what the students ask. They want better jazz technique. How can they get better at it? So I offered a workshop on that. And then at 3:00, we had our workshop with Sean Jones. So he was on a Zoom call again. He was located up near Baltimore. And it was great having him in. It was really inspirational, very inspirational. And so I just asked him a whole bunch of questions specifically about, his training, his upbringing, what inspired him as a musician, what inspires him as a teacher, because of course, many of the people in the room were teachers or future music teachers of America, or aspiring, high school students that are aspiring to become music education students. So a lot of our questions tended to be around music, education, and what keeps you going.
Right. I mean, especially keeps you going in the middle of a pandemic. Like, how has that kind of changed your approach from, even teaching? Like, have you guys been even able to do a big band, or has it all just been the combo? How are you guys approaching, what we're going through at this point?
That's a great question. I know everyone handles things differently. Personally, I mean, I have the attitude, hey, if you got lemons, you make lemonade, that type of thing. So this is what we were given. And so, yeah, there is no big band rehearsal. Instead, what we're doing, we're delving a little deeper into improvisation. So it's basically a jazz combos class. Whatever students want to attend, that's what we're doing. And then every other Friday, we meet in person specifically to jam and to improvise over the changes. And so we work hard for those 5 days. We work Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 3 to 4:30. And we work specifically on, like, we pick one tune for every 2 weeks. And well, actually, let me specify, I picked 2 tunes this semester so they can delve really deeply into those tunes, which includes the history of the tune, the composers themselves, a little background on the composers, varying recordings of each tune that was selected. This semester, the tunes were All the Things You Are and Autumn Leaves, very popular tunes in jazz.
Absolutely.
And we practiced over the changes using a variety of techniques, whether they're scales, diatonic sevenths, using licks. And so we worked on a whole bunch of, tools to improvise over those changes, and interpretations of the melody, interpretations of the rhythm section. So if they can do it in a Latin, a swing, a ballad, etc. And then we put it into practice every other Friday in a live face-to-face class, which we were socially distanced.
That is really cool. I like how you're approaching that, because, especially, it encourages the students to end up, working on their own stuff. So you're like, okay, so we can't meet up as a full band, but this is the heart of jazz. This is what's going on. So it kind of, trial by fire.
Then from the past, like in the past, we would practice 2 or 3 tunes per class.
Yeah.
Jazz combos, we only meet on Fridays from 3 to 4:30. But this way, or in the past, we would practice a tune for maybe 30 minutes, and then we go to the next tune, and then we go to the next tune. So we only spend 30 minutes on a tune, whether it's playing the tune down and playing the changes and then transposing it up or down a half step or a whole step, or we talk about the changes itself. So we just delve into it, but it's only 30 minutes per tune. And then the following week, it's another 3 tunes. So that way they go through, because the semester is 15 weeks, roughly 16 weeks. So that way we go through a variety of tunes per semester.
Right.
But semester's different in that we got to delve more deeply into these two specific tunes, and then they performed them in the concert.
That's really cool. So, when we ended up having a jazz euphonium player, was that?
Oh yeah, great. You can any instrument can be played in the jazz idiom. It's I think of jazz as just another language. We play our instruments. Our instruments can be considered our oral cavity, et cetera. So if you think of it as we can speak English with the same structures we have in our mouth, we can speak Spanish, we can speak French. We have all the same structures. And the same thing holds true with the instruments. You can play the notes in a variety of manners, but it's how you interpret it. It's that's all it is. So you can have jazz harp, hard rock saxophone. It's just a matter of, it's just how you approach it.
Hopefully, the world starts opening up and we'll be able to, meet in person, then hopefully be able to see concerts like the ones that you guys ended up holding in person. That would be a very great thing for us, hopefully here in the near future. Well, thank you for tuning in with us. And Richard, thank you for, putting up with technical difficulties and the whole nine. But it was great catching up with you. Was there anything that you wanted to say about your program? Anything that you would like to say about any of the students that ended up performing in the showcase, anything like that before we end up going?
Well, I just wanted to say, first of all, I need to thank the administration here at Eastern, and especially Dustin Seifert, our department chair. Great leadership. Our students are fantastic. We're very lucky. We have great students here at Eastern. We'd like to keep it that way. So without their assistance, we couldn't put on that concert, at least the student portion of the Jazz Combos concert. The faculty concert, hey, that's faculty. We can always do that. But the students can't do it without them. So,
Yeah.
For them. Also, I wanted to mention that how this year, working with the pandemic, it was very different and we had to be very flexible. I found myself, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I found myself being much nicer to my students and much more appreciative rather than teaching them face to face. Even though usually I like to be cordial with my students, but perhaps I dig in a little deeper when I have my students face to face, let them know, you should have done this, you should have done that.
Right.
So anyway, we have to be flexible, taught lessons via Facebook video chat. That's how I taught lessons this semester. And it was convenient for the students because they're all on Facebook and they can access lessons using their phone.
Yeah.
Rather than having to log on to a computer, et cetera, and having technical issues, things like that. So it was very handy for them. And then for the jazz class, everything had to be done via Teams, Microsoft Teams, and it worked out. Okay. So we were just flexible. And of course, I had to keep notes in a Microsoft Word document rather than writing them on a notebook in my office, which is what I used in those lessons. But we were all flexible. Each of us had things we had to deal with for the pandemic to make things work. So, and I really appreciate this, Chris. Thank you for interviewing me. And before I forget also, the program, if I could talk briefly about Eastern and the Department of Music, it's a fantastic program. The faculty, wonderful faculty, they're graduates of some of the best schools around the country, and you have them right here in the region at Eastern. The university itself costs very little in regards to other schools, other major schools around the area and around the country. I think you'll find if you hunt around and you look around at the cost of tuition around the country, if you are looking to major in music, some of those costs are astronomical. And so you'll see that Eastern is a fraction of the cost, and yet you still study with amazing faculty. And the facilities are very new, very modern. So I can't believe that it costs so little to have an education in these wonderful facilities and to learn from the great faculty that we have here. It's just mind-boggling to me coming from the Northeast,
right,
where the schools are about 10 times more expensive than they are here at Eastern.
Right, right.
Yeah. And the Department of Art, of course, is wonderful. We have new facilities. In fact, I'm talking to you from our graphic design studio, and it's a modern classroom. All our classrooms are modern here in the Department of Art. The building was just redone just a few years ago. So we're very fortunate here at Eastern.
It's awesome. Yeah. I definitely enjoyed my time there, and I was a little frustrated because like I was there while you guys were revamping the music department, so there was that solid like semester, like 2 semesters where we were like being fished all over the place, and then like my last semester there was in the new building, like ended up having everything was synced to the recording studio, everything was state of the art. I was like, oh, I only have a year left. Like, but it's definitely a great place to go. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being with us. And we'll go ahead and enjoy some more music. Thank you guys for tuning in to Music Monday New Mexico's. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.